Boom.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your man J Kev here, J Kevo, with Leif Taylor here at my side, or me at his side, just having our regular conversation that we have about all things health, wealth, relationships, happiness, and everything else in between. Just life in general. If it's a part of life, then it's guaranteed to come up in conversation somewhere because that's just how we roll. Um, what's up with you, Leif? I see that you're a little bit under the weather, but we're still moving on. That's how we roll.
Always.
We just
Got
keep
to.
on
Got to put
trucking,
in the work. Got to put in the work.
put in the work, and you'll get your reward. For every action, there is reaction, and the law of sowing and reaping is always in effect. In that, every decision that we make, every action that we take, has a ripple effect, and it whether we realize it or not. If you're living, if you're breathing, there is a reaction to you just existing. So, the things that we talk about in our conversation, hopefully we can glean some nuggets of practical wisdom that'll help us uh, increase the probability of us achieving whatever it is we set out, what we hope to achieve in this life, in this fleeting plane of existence. I know that growing up late, when I was a kid, it seemed like a day took forever. Seemed like summertime just took forever. But the older I get, the more I realize how fast, time moves. It feels like time is winding up, as some may say. So, it's in our best interest. It's in your best interest to find those life nuggets, those life hacks, those life pieces of practical knowledge that'll help us just kind of live better today than we did yesterday, and hopefully it gets even more sweeter as the days come, as your future comes into to view. So, Leif, before we got on, we were just going over some things that we might want to talk about, and the topic of work and reward came up, making sure that we realize that we have to put in the work. We have to do some work in order to realize, manifest some type of reward. So, the things that are best for us don't come easy, and we have to put in some effort. We have to put in some sweat equity for it. That's one of the things I've learned over the course of my life, and how important it is that you put in the work, you show up, you do the things necessary, you go through the process. We often talk about trusting the process and learning about and implementing those processes that have been tried and true to get you the rewards, the results that you're looking for. It may not be what the next man or next woman is getting, but if you follow the processes that's been tried and true since time immemorial, since we've been on this earth, then the probability of you receiving some rewards for that is high. I'm not going to say it's guaranteed because,
Yep.
as they say, nothing in life is guaranteed. But we
Well,
try
death
to,
and taxes.
yes, we try to increase the probabilities. We try to have the odds be in our favor, as they say in the Hunger Games,
Yep.
as best as we can. Some days, you just might get hit by a truck, and that's just the way it is. you know, and so that's just life. Sometimes chance happens to us all, but we just have to do what we can when we can while we can.
Yep.
So, Leif, talking about work and reward, what are some things that got you thinking about that kind of just brought that to mind?
Yeah. So it's two ways to look at work versus reward. No reward before the work. And I was looking at it
Yep.
one way, but there's another way to look at it as well. And so, on the one hand, I was thinking a lot of times people want the gifts before they put in the effort to get the gift, right? And sometimes that can come. As adults, like instead of like, so say you want to go to the gym and you want to reward yourself with something, some people just bypass the gym altogether and just go straight to the reward, right? And so that's that's one aspect of it, and the other aspect of it in terms of accomplishment, to get to a pinnacle or some milestone, you have to make sure that you put in the success, put in the work necessary to achieve that success. So there's two different ways to look at that. So,
Yeah, I was going to comment on that, and that oftentimes it seems like that when you take the shortcut or when you get the reward before the work, it's harder to maintain that reward or maintain that level of success if you don't actually have a foundation preceding it that'll help you maintain and go to the next level. And I'm in saying that, I'm thinking about the example that you gave about the gym and working out. There's shortcuts that you can take as far as things you can tweak here and there to get the appearance of looking fit, healthy, and well. But if you're not doing the actions that's going to help support that over the long term, then that could quickly and easily fall off. And I'm just thinking about how in times past I've run across people that has crash dieted or fasted, and they have achieved the look that they want, but their eating habits didn't match up with what it took to maintain or keep or cultivate that appearance. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, a few months later, it's like, whoa, you look worse than when you started out. So just thinking about that aspect of doing the work and doing the things, the habits, cultivating what's necessary in order to maintain the reward and cultivate and keep it going.
Yeah, I've seen that with a variety of people. I used to be a trainer as well, so I've seen it in that. And also, ironically, I was watching Impact Theory before we went live, and they were literally talking about that very thing. They were
Wow.
like 90% of people that go on diets and lose weight within 3 years, they're actually probably bigger than when they started, right? Because it's about consistency, and it's not about just achieving the end goal. It's about a consistent lifestyle, and just staying on top of and maintaining a proper diet and that kind of stuff. And that's why crash diets, you usually end up crashing, right? I'm getting feedback on my end when I'm talking. Are you hearing that at all?
No, you sound clear. Yeah, you crystal clear. Good.
Okay, sweet. So if anybody else is hearing that, let me know. But yeah, so that's very important. And we talk about the four C's and all of that all the time. And consistency is the single biggest C that you can have in your life, because consistency in any given genre, any given field, any given discipline, whatever, that's what really sets you up for success. I was watching a video with Cal Newport, one of our favorite people to talk about, and he was talking about that same very thing in terms of like deep work and mastery. It's consistency is where all of this stuff comes out. Consistency is the true superpower of our time. And if we don't really focus in on that in terms of the way we live our lives, the way we try to focus our discipline, then we'll miss out on a whole lot of rewards, going back to the theme.
Yeah, when you were talking about work, it made me think about the smart work or the right work,
Yep.
uh, taking the right actions that'll help you achieve and maintain wherever it is you're trying to get to. Um, you know, just you can make anything about work, but just doing smart work and doing work that is efficient and work that is productive and work that is
Yep.
focused. Um, that really helps. I got a message that there is an echo, but I don't hear an echo.
Yeah, I
So,
hear it. I hear it when I'm talking. That's why I'm wondering if it's feedback from your end when I'm talking. I don't know. So
huh?
mute real quick, and I'll say something just to see. Okay, when I'm doing that, yeah, it's feedback on your end, Kev, because when I'm talking, I don't hear it now, but I was hearing it before when I was talking to you. So okay, we'll just be mindful of that. So go ahead.
Huh. I don't. So are you good now? Can you still hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You hear the feedback? I haven't done anything different than what I normally do.
No, it was feedback from me talking. It's
Hmm.
feedback's coming from your end. Does that make sense?
So do I
So
need to log out
no,
and log
so
back
no,
in?
no. So what I'll do, I'll just mute you whenever I'm getting ready to say something, and I'll just unmute you when I'm done speaking. So that way, it's just we take turns, and I think that'll solve the problem.
Gotcha.
So go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Well, talking about the four C's, you know, that's really important when it comes to like work and reward, and that the four C's will help you maintain a level of contentment and happiness while you're doing the work. And that's something that, I had to learn along the way is that it really helps out a lot when you figure out what it takes for you in order to maintain and sustain a level of contentment and happiness no matter what while you're on that journey, and putting in the work. If you can't if you can't do that, then it makes it real hard to like stay focused and stay on the journey of wherever it is that you're trying to get to. In thinking about that, I was thinking about earlier about, this is real trivial, but I was just thinking about how I like, when it comes to social media and getting on a new platform, I like the journey of building up the numbers. I don't know why. We've had this conversation off mic where I have a set goal of achieving a certain number, whether it be, I don't know, IG or whatever, Facebook or whatever. And once I hit it, it's like,
You're done.
I'm done. And I think that, in learning how to find contentment and happiness while building, that definitely goes a long way as far as making it easier when it comes to, you achieving whatever pursuit that you set for yourself, in life. Like you said in shows past, learning how to embrace the suck, learning how to just embrace whatever it is that you go through as far as the pain and discomfort that you go to, learn how to embrace that and enjoy it. That helps, along the way. And also, Cal Newport talks about that too in his books and also in his interviews. Deep work
Yep.
and some other ones. Digital minimalism. I don't know if he talks about it so much in there. We're just talking about, enjoying the process when it comes to mastery and enjoying, learning how to just spend time, just thinking and learning how to spend time, with with not a lot of distractions and stuff around. So yeah, thinking about work and reward.
Yeah, and also Robert Greene talks about it in the book Mastery. Uh, in like you said, Cal Newport said those are good books. Uh, yeah, those are good books. I have yet to really heed his advice. Get on it, Doctor Steve. Uh, but yeah, man, it's like so those things are definitely important. Again, consistency is like I can't we always beat that drum because I realize how valuable it is in terms of just achieving anything in this life, in this plane of existence, as the way my man Jay Kev says. And so it's very important that we work on consistency. And the one thing that I liked about Cal Newport, I watched the video of his last week, so a lot of this stuff is fresh on my head, is that the consistency is what leads to the mastery to begin with. Like you don't understand like the nuances. You don't even care about it enough until you spent enough time with it. It's almost like marriage. Like there's certain things about my wife I never knew until we were married and spent years together. And so just the consistent being around each other, the consistent conversations, the consistent layering, and you realize how many layers there are to people's lives and their thoughts because sometimes without even if you don't have a consistent conversation with somebody, you don't even know those thoughts are in your own head because we get so busy doing a whole lot of things. And so consistency, even in the relationship side, is very important. And going back to the reward side of things, it's really delaying the reward, going back to my original thought, delaying the reward makes the reward that much more valuable. If you bypass the gym and just go straight to the payoff that you were hoping for, then the gym becomes unimportant. And then the payoff that you're getting is actually detrimental to your health because you didn't do the work to, to get your body to a point where you could take on the hits, so to speak. And so just those kinds of things that we got to think about. And not only that, but the psychological impact of what it means to really focus and put forth the time in over years. Going back to the talk that I was listening to before we got on, the subject matter came up before the talk, ironically. But watching Impact Theory, they had a bodybuilder on there. He's like one of the strongest bodybuilders ever, kind of thing. And he was just talking about consistency. He was like, when he was a kid, as a senior in high school, he only weighed 115 pounds. And yeah, and so he was just saying that, it's really about the consistency and then the compounding effect of the consistency, because the more you do something, the deeper your experience, the deeper your experience in that field goes. Not only that, the deeper your knowledge, but the added benefits of that is, which goes back to our conversation offline, is opportunity comes because you're so embedded into that thing. You're hyper aware of anything going around that subject, that domain subject, right? You have a domain expertise, you become a geek, a nerd, or whatever, and but that doesn't happen until you've done it over time. Then you become so entrenched in it. Now, like for him, as a bodybuilder getting stronger, he's done it so many times. He knows how to tweak his movements. He knows how to tweak his diet. He knows how to do a lot of things that the average person has no clue of. Because when you first start exercising, you feel muscles you've never ever felt. Like literally. And it's like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. Like, what is that? Like, and so again, you just develop an intimacy with the with whatever field or whatever it is that you're doing, because you've done it so often. And especially if you stay curious with it, you start uncovering new things. And that's where, going back to, we talk about Seth Godin, he says, you have to transform whatever your expertise is into an art. You can't make it an art until you've mastered it. And then that's when the artistry comes. That's like these people that can tell stories with math. They don't get there starting off day one doing 2 plus 2 and all of that. But once they've developed so many years into it, now they can see the pictures that math can paint that the average person doesn't see. Because I don't see that with math. It just looks like numbers to me. But when you see these people tell these dramatic stories and talk about hyper loops in space and black hole theorems and all of that, it's like, whoa, like I never saw that. And so that's another part of consistency that we have to think about. It's like, if we truly want to find the love and the passion of whatever field or whatever thing that resonates with us, we really don't touch the surface of it until we put the time in. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. Just consider that when you were talking, you were making me think about. I've been going to a lot of high school wrestling matches lately, and spending a lot of time just watching and learning. It very quickly made me realize how important it is to stay consistent at whatever it is that you decide to do, and just seeing how when you stay consistent at whatever it is you decide to do, like you said, it opens up whole new worlds to you, and there's a lot of things that you don't even realize is available to the human existence when you start doing something. Like, I'm thinking about wrestling. I'm thinking about how I was learning jujitsu for a while, just for a little bit, and I was working with a personal trainer, I guess you could say, and just to see the progression from when you start until you spend a lot of time doing it, it's crazy. The amount of the amount of things you can learn in a short period of time if you stay consistent at it versus doing it sporadically. Not only, I'm just thinking about that, I'm thinking about musicians. Kyle Newport talks about that in his book, one of them. I think Deep Work talking about um, the musician that stays consistent versus the one that doesn't, and how when you stay consistent at something, there's so many things that you can see and it's made available to you that you don't even realize is there. I was listening to a video earlier about this guy in Zimbabwe, and he
Okay.
came up. He actually uh, finished the work that Tesla, I guess, had started
Oh
when it
wow.
comes to getting energy wirelessly out of the atmosphere. And they were interviewing him, and he was in this church in Zimbabwe, and they were like they did like a satellite view of his area and how it was dark. It was pitch dark, and then they showed him inside a church, and he turned on the device, and it lit up the whole church, and it was just
Wow.
this little box, sitting there, and he was like going through explaining it, and he went a little bit into about the technology and stuff about it, and he was just like one of many people out there who have figured out ways through staying consistent at whatever it is they're doing. They figured out a lot of things that can be helpful and beneficial to everyone in general. And it was just like you were talking about how mathematicians, and then talking about space and stuff, and just realizing there's whole universes and stuff out there that we have access to. It's just that many of us don't stay consistent in whatever endeavor we choose to stay in, to even realize that. Thinking about scientists, thinking about musicians, thinking about right now thinking about David Goggins and Wim Hof, how the sphere that they operate in, they're able to achieve levels of being, levels of thinking that the regular guy who doesn't pursue that, don't even realize is available to us. Just thinking about Wim Hof and how the work he's done with just breath work,
Oh,
how a lot of the things he's able to do, just the amount of control he's able to exhibit over his body is otherworldly, unless you've spent time doing what he does. And it's just something as simple as just breath work. And not just him. This is just him and others are cultivating and bringing to the forefront the importance of ancient knowledge that's always been there and been known. It's just we have the internet now, so just about your everyday person can be made aware of it and be like, I never thought about that. Let me go try that out. And next thing you know, it's 30 years later, and you're still, you know, 30 years later, you're still captured by and still interested in something that you were willing to put the work in to realize a reward that many people won't appreciate or even value the way that you do.
yeah. Even on top of that, just I always advise people, and this is advice I give to myself, and I try to stay true to it. Is if you stay curious, it doesn't feel like work, right? And that's how you start, like doing more and more, is just by staying curious about it, and just really, because it helps you unlock another layer of something, right? Because you probably won't even do the work until you become fascinated with it to begin with. Like you said, you come across some interesting information. It's like, oh, okay, let me try that out, see what that feels like. Like, oh, okay, like let me do a little bit more. Oh, I didn't know this. And then even going back to the jujitsu example, like when you're in that environment, you start realizing like, man, I never thought about the body could do all of these different things, right? And not only that, you become hyper, like I said, you become hyper aware of it after you start going through, because now your mind has opened up a new layer of existence. It's like, oh, okay, so if I move just by holding my hand and wrapping it under here, I can lock somebody's arm up and they can't do something. This is the way I can protect myself. I remember one of the guys when I used to train, he was talking about how he literally stopped the convenience store robbery. A guy had a gun, pointed at the like at the clerk, and he just walked up behind him and locked his arm, and he just held him there until the police came. And so just like little stuff like that, again, it actually made me think about the onset of the UFC when Royce Gracie stepped in. Like nobody knew what Brazilian Jiu Jitsu was, so he was beating everybody because it was so foreign to everybody. And now, of course, it's commonplace in MMA. But yeah, but just going back to again talking about, we're really talking about reward, getting to the reward of the work. And that reward can be a variety of different things. It can be opportunities. We talked about opportunities in whatever endeavors that you're doing. And I was supposed to be somewhere today, but I was telling Kevin that it didn't bother me that I wasn't there because I believe more opportunities will come because I put in the work, put in the connections. The stuff's not going anywhere, right? Opportunities are always around us because I know in the spaces that I'm working, because I'm consistently working in it, I'm getting more and more opportunities every day. So it doesn't bother me. And not only that, the consistency of me doing this stuff, just understanding how being in spaces or being, and when I say spaces, I mean just like domains of knowledge, right? Being in certain domains of knowledge and just constantly pursuing it, I know that those things produce their own opportunities and their own rewards from the standpoint that I don't have to advertise or do anything to consistently get work. It's because I'm putting in the work, I'm putting in the right kind of work, as Kevin said. And sometimes you don't even know what the right kind of work is until you've done it long enough, right? I always remember Pastor Wilson, Lamar Wilson's dad. Pastor Larry Wilson. One thing that he told us that I hold true to this day is he says, as long as you got skin in the game, you'll be all right. And basically what that means is as long as you're putting in the work and the effort, as long as you don't walk away from whatever it is you're doing, there will always be opportunities. There will always be opportunities for you to win. But if you walk away, then those opportunities won't come your way because people won't be seeing you there. So always remember that in whatever your efforts, like Kevin said, you can't guarantee that it's going to work 100%. But if you're not in it, 100% guarantee that it won't work. And so just keep that in mind, and just make sure. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, Cam.
I said, unless you win the lottery.
but hey, we've seen the stories of lottery winning, so they don't always work out either.
Yeah, so, most of them end up worse off, like we were talking about. Yeah. If you don't put in the work to, sustain that level of financial windfall, then you'll be broke or even more broke than when you started out.
I don't know who quoted this, but it's like you can't outspend money problems. You just can't do it because there's always a way for your money to go from you. And
the U.S. government's doing it. I'm just kidding.
Think about it. The problems ain't going away either. And so that's part of it. But anyway, let me beat you because I'm getting the feedback. But anyway, like if you all have any comments or commentary, definitely chime in before we close out. We definitely want to hear from you all. And we appreciate the time that you all spent just listening to us whenever you listen to us. And if it's not live, just be sure to make a comment. Be sure to share it with somebody. We'd appreciate that. Go ahead, Kev.
Yep, definitely appreciate you all spending time with us and paying us a little bit of attention. We don't take it for granted. And hopefully return on your time and attention given to us. Hopefully it's worth your while. But, in closing, we just want to come on and have a conversation, about work and reward and how important it is, how essential it is that in whatever pursuit that you decide to give your time, your attention to, that you do the right work and just, spend time enjoying the process and enjoying the suck and learning how to find contentment in that. That goes a long way when it comes to achieving and realizing whatever it is you've decided to go after. So yeah, just having an abundance mindset that goes a long way, and realizing that there's always opportunities out there for your work. There's always opportunities. They never go away. Every day you wake up, there's a new field of diamonds that needs to be mined. Thinking about Field of Diamonds, that story or book. I don't know if you heard of it.
I haven't.
Okay. Yeah.
Explain it.
So well, I just that just popped in my head. I don't know if it's a story, or I think it's a story or a book or whatever. I gotta look it up. It's called Field of Diamonds. The point is, there's always, diamonds out there to be mined,
Yep.
and they're right in front of you. They're right in front of you. There's nothing that you have to go chasing after, and you don't have to look in somebody else's field or look in somebody else's lane and see what they have, or you don't have to be envious or jealous. Just look around you and look at what is in your life at this very moment, and just do that with the open, mind and open heart, to realize that there's diamonds right under your feet, whether you realize it or not. So that's the gist of what we're supposed to take away from that story or whatever. Maybe when we come back on, I'll find it and we'll touch on it a little bit. So that's all I got, Leif.
All right. Before we roll out, I just want to give a quick shout out to the crew. This weekend, Jorge Masvidal's Icon FC. We're gonna be sponsoring that. You'll see our logo in the center of the match on UFC Fight Pass. So if any of you all have UFC Fight Pass, definitely check us out. Our QR code will be walked around by the ring card girls, the whole nine. I would have been there, but I can't. But the crew is definitely there representing. So definitely check us out. We got a lot more stuff, and also maybe one day we'll talk about like NFTs, the metaverse, Web 3.0, and what that could mean for anybody that's listening. Not necessarily any one particular project, but just the ecosystem as a whole and how we could benefit from it. We've talked about, cryptocurrencies in the past and those kinds of things. I'm in the space, but I was never, I got kind of worn out by talking about the financial stuff because it was too redundant for myself. But I'm definitely an art nerd, and so NFTs and the metaverse are up my alley, and so it's rekindled my passion for the crypto space. In a sense, I'll just put it that way. I'd rather be on the art side more than anything, but definitely there's plenty of business opportunities for everybody, especially if you're new to it, because in reality, the entire world is new to it. And so there's plenty of opportunity in space, and at the very least, understand what's here and how it's going to potentially affect you going down the line. So I just wanted to throw that out there. J. Kev, back to you, brother.
Two shy guys on the mic, just here having our regular conversation about all things health, wealth, relationships, happiness, and everything else in between. And yeah, Leif, we'll definitely have to have a conversation about Web3, NFTs, cryptocurrency, I guess, and everything else around that space and ecosystem. In that the rewards are abundant if you're willing to put in just a little bit of effort of just finding your niche, finding something that you can stick to within the coming age. It's already here, but it's just having to realize that it's here and realize what it means to us, to me, to you, and to those listening. So I think I'm getting dragged, kicking and screaming, because that's just what everybody's looking to, and things are shifting in that direction. So like you, I'm being forced in a certain aspect to just kind of look into it and see what's going on. So yeah, we'll have to have that conversation. So that's all we got. Peace out,
everybody. We appreciate you.